Hey guys, and welcome back to another epic episode of Epic Dinosaur Facts. Today we're going to go over all the different ways the Cretaceous Gobi Desert would have bent you over and kicked your ass out of the gene pool. Between the giant dinosaurs, sweltering desert, and whatever else might be lurking out there, you're not making it out of this one. Remember to like and subscribe or your clothes will be filled with prehistoric fleas. The Gobi Desert in Mongolia is one of the richest fossil beds in the whole world. Spanning as far as the eye can see, this great pit of sand once held prehistoric wonders. From the flaming cliffs that aren't actually on fire, weirdly enough, to the Namek, there are a myriad of dig sites with all new creatures to feature. That also means more creatures that you're going to have to outwit, outlast, or flee from in fear once you're plunged headfirst into the sands of this late Cretaceous hellscape. Don't worry, you got this. You've got notifications on for outdoor boys. Find some shelter and you're laughing. But that's just the problemo, my friend. The Gobi Desert is a vast expanse of sand and not much else for miles in every direction. Well, there was the odd oasis or even jungle interspersed across the desert. It's like looking for a needle in a sand dune. Unfortunately, in all likelihood, you will keel over and die of heat stroke before you ever find water, or a dinosaur for that matter. Isn't that embarrassing? Back sizzling under the Cretaceous sun, dead without ever having even seen a dinosaur. While stumbling your way through the desert like some sort of prehistoric hobo, you hear a slight rumbling approaching in the distance. Soon a giant herd of hadrosaurs have gained on you. At first, this might appear like a lucky break for your sorry ass. Animals tend to know where water is, somehow, you figure. Why not follow them until they take you to somewhere more prosperous? But just as you turn to greet your reptilian shepherd, one of them slams their foot into your skull with the force of its 15-ton body behind it. It's kinda hard to think with the imprint of a hadrosaur's boot in your forehead, but try and pay attention. You see, like any wild animal today, hadrosaurs were unpredictable and dangerous, often depicted as gentle giants in media, but in reality, these school bus-sized murder cows were not to be fucked with, not for 1 second. The Gobi Desert specifically was host to two of the largest and most rugged hadrosaurs to ever do it. Shantungosaurus grew to be over 50 feet long and almost 20 tons, as well as Caranosaurus. While estimates vary a bit further, this dinosaur was still likely more lengthy than its close American cousin. So I'd warn you that a tussle with this muscle might not be a very good idea, but I think the feeling of your spinal fluid leaking out onto the sand might convey that message well enough. Eventually, you find a small group of Protoceratops, and you decide that following them is likely your best way to reliably find water. They're mean little bastards, but as long as you don't get your fingies too close to their chompers, you'll probably survive this one. However, along your trek, you notice little blue silhouettes appearing over the horizon. They disappear, but you can tell they're still following. The Protoceratops start to tweak the fuck out, and so do you. But once you realize what you're looking at, a small pack of velociraptors, you start to feel more confident. These guys aren't nearly as scary as they were in that one movie, full of confidence, like seasoned UFC champ Brock Lesnar entering the ring against a drugged 4-year-old. You approach these feathered hooligans, ready for a fight. I'll admit, velociraptors were far from the scariest creatures in the Gobi Desert, but if you think your coddled liberal upbringing and your heart condition mean you're not going to lose this fight 9 times out of 10, then that toe claw 2.5 inches into your guts has got something to say about that. Which is enough, by the way. Well, the Protoceratops didn't exactly wait for you to finish getting shit stomped by the velociraptors, so now you're all alone again. Treading along the vast expanse, you slowly become aware of a rumbling in the sand. Your stomach did have Taco Bell right before getting teleported here, but unfortunately, that's not it. But the real reason will make you shit yourself anyway. The rumbling gets louder and louder until a giant fucking sandworm on some Timothy Chalamet shit bursts through the sand and swallows you whole. Now, technically, there is no direct scientific evidence for there being giant sandworms in late Cretaceous Mongolia, but shit, man, can I have a headcanon without you breaking my balls? Lay off, why don't ya? Just as you are spending the last remaining energy in your body crawling through the desert, you spot salvation, an oasis. But between you and all the water you can fit in your bladder is a lone ankylosaurid, Tarkia. You try to sneak past it, but of course, you trip over nothing after taking like 1 step towards it. Unfortunately for you, millions of years of evolution in an environment as harsh as this has made the Tarkia both incredibly territorial as well as incredibly deadly. But you won't really have time to ponder that notion with all your thought juice on the outside. After receiving a wallop of that intensity, you're probably out for a little while. But when you awake, you sprint towards the watering hole and take a flying leap inside. I probably would too if I had sunburns and blisters like you. Gee whiz. And the thirst, it's been unbearable. You bend down, asshole to the breeze, and start gulping down mouthfuls of water, and probably sand. But before you can fill your belly, something taps you on your shoulder. You look up to see a 16-foot tall, 5-ton turkey with katanas for fingers, a Therizinosaurus. Despite how it may look, these animals were actually herbivores. Their long finger claws were mostly used to grab branches and shear leaves. But in a pinch, they also worked pretty well as defensive weapons, which it looks like you found out the hard way. Yikes. I'd get that looked at. The watering hole is normally a place of peace between creatures of the desert, but apparently that privilege doesn't extend to you. As you wander away from the oasis, trying to find somewhere to rest your weary and, at this point, quite bruised noggin, you find a large cave, which you walk into, no questions asked. How trustworthy. It seems the world hasn't hurt you yet, but it's about to, so don't worry. As you get further into the cave, you stub your toe on something that feels both softer and somehow meaner than a rock. It stands with a snarl, and you recognize the outline of a Tarbosaurus. Scratch that, the outline of 3 Tarbosaurus. You run back out of the cave, screaming and shitting. While they're still a little groggy, the Tarbosaurus can pretty quickly catch up to you. At this point, it kinda goes without saying, but you were maimed. Beyond recognition, it was really horrific. Not quite sure I can show this one on YouTube, so just use your imagination. Eventually, you begin to see the beauty of the Gobi Desert. As a group of Nemegtosaurus lumber by slowly, you'll soon be exposed to the frigid desert night, but hey, there are more disgusting sights to fall asleep to. You slowly drift off, letting your worries wash away, such as, will I ever see my family again? Or, how will I watch the next Dinosaur Facts upload? But these anxieties quickly leave your head, along with the rest of your brain that was shot out through the top of your skull. Falling asleep that close to a group of massive herbivores that have the ability to turn your skeleton into wood chips with one footfall, not bright. There are definitely more painful ways to lose your life out here in the Gobi, but there might not be a more disgusting one. This desert is filled with monsters. The Gobi had a plethora of ways to return you to the dirt from whence you came, like the Deinonychus, which could have gutted you like the fish that it was so fond of, or the Gallimimus, a somewhat large herbivore that would have gathered in massive groups, very capable of breaking your bones under their thousands of tiny feet, or the Mononychus, a rather unassuming little fella, but he probably could have poked your eye out or some shit. But I gotta get this video out, so we got one more left to discuss. One that, in my opinion at least, was the single scariest way to die in the Gobi Desert. Well, other than being pillaged and that by Genghis Khan, but I don't think he was around yet, so we're probably good. Weary and worn down from the many dangers of this godforsaken desert, you drag your feet through the sand with no particular destination in mind. Eventually, you pick up on a pair of dinosaurs following your footsteps far in the distance. You attempt to pick up the pace, but unless you're some Olympic track star, these beasts will catch up to you in no time. Once they do, and you get a better look at them, you realize what you're looking at. 2 Alioramus, smaller relatives of Tyrannosaurus that stalked Cretaceous Mongolia, specifically designed to hunt small, frail prey that can outrun the larger predators here, which in this case is you. Under normal circumstances, these animals might chase you down, ripping and tearing away sections of your flesh until you bleed out or keel over from exhaustion. But you've kinda met them halfway, as even they have picked up how pathetic you look trudging through the sand dunes. They are perfectly content with sitting back and waiting until you die of exposure before dining on your succulent flesh. It's not like you're gonna get away. They stare back at you for hours while the life slowly drains from your eyes. You finally start to lose consciousness, but those impatient bastards don't even give you the courtesy of waiting until you're all gone, as you feel their sharp teeth dig into your scalp. So that was fun. Once again, thank you guys for watching this one. If you can think of another way you would have died in the Gobi Desert, tell me all about it in the comments. While you're there, let me know which fossil bed I should do next in this series. And if you left a like and dropped a sub, it would mean the most. That's about all I got this time. Bye.